Good morning, traders. Thank you for joining us on Friday, September 5th. This is a pre-market prep. This is Michael from Game Edge coming to you. Again, as always, we'll cover our three pillars here at Game Edge: sentiment, structure, and trend. As always, come join us at gamaedge.us newsletters. Put in your email here. You'll be delivered our Beyond the Bell newsletter on the weekend, extensive education, as well as going over how we navigate the SPX option structure, as well as the tools we use. You can also sign up for the free courses, Gamma Edge Fast Pass flagship education course. Again, extensive methodology, going over our tools and how we, again, navigate the SPX option structure. And then sign up for the School of Options. If you're new to options, this is a great entry-level course. And it is separated in a bachelor's, master's, and sort of a doctorate type program with the quizzes associated with that also. So go ahead and check that out, as well as the mental side of trading, the free course there. And if you want to come join us in our Discord, where you get an extensive commentary in the morning of SPX game plan, as well as a community of traders helping each other become profitable, how to use our tools. Again, we have traders from all aspects of the equities community, from former market makers to money managers to new traders, again, with extensive backgrounds and history, as well as time in the market and trading also. So go ahead and come join us. We'll be happy to help you get up to speed. As always, we start with our market trend model based on the tick index. We orientate here. We look at the bolded white CT. That's our cumulative tick. Again, that's our intraday instantaneous cumulative tick. And if it is moving to the upside, indicating more call or more stocks are being bought than sold in the overall market. And yesterday is what we call a linear up day, where you're from lower left to upper right, basically in a 45-degree angle. This is one of our strongest signals and one of the strongest days usually in the overall market. When you start seeing this signal, it is your indication to get on board the overall move to the upside. So now also orientated up here, our breadth indicator, new highs versus new lows, obviously new highs moving to the upside. And then our filtered cumulative tick indicator, plus 1,000, minus 1,000 block orders. This is institutional, larger market participants. As long as it is above zero and moving to the upside, institutions are buying more than selling in the overall market environment. So this is our tick that includes all the exchanges. It's a little bit more noisier, but a little bit more reactive. So then we move to our filtered, our quality tick. And this is what we base our P-Trans to PGX mechanical portfolio on. And obviously, if we're moving to the upside, this is indicating more buying versus selling in the overall market. Again, the colored ribbon is how we base our mechanical portfolio. Again, the red above cyan moving to the positive slope to the upside, again, indicating that there's more buying versus selling and a strong overall market and continuing to move to the upside. Now, we would not be out of the realm of possibilities to see some sort of consolidation after a large two-day move, staying above these shorter-term moving averages, which is our swing trading type time frame from 3 to 5 days or 5 to 7 days. But again, we'll continue to watch that. Just the quick takeaway is bulls are in control of the overall market, and there's more buying versus selling. So you want to be involved and on board the market as it moves to the upside. All right, let's move on to the SPX options complex. This is largest, most notional value complex. That's why we look at it for how market participants are positioning, and we separate the SPXA from the SPXP. The reason we do that is the SPXA contracts are obviously monthly expiries. They don't turn over as rapidly, so we don't get an exertion of intraday force as much, but they are there helping to either support or resist price as we navigate the overall option structure. So quick takeaway, call dominated above and below spot price. We've really been pounding on this 64.50, 64.55 level. If we're above, we would most likely see price appreciation to the upside. We see net deltas, again, as we commentated here, as far as the eye can see. So out of the money call speculation, in the money calls below us, again, supportive as well as supportive of price movement to the upside. And then we see that 6,500 was that level we reached yesterday. And then we see PGX up here at 6,600. So again, price appreciation can still be on the board via the SPXA, and larger institutions that are continue to be positioned for upside movement in the overall market. We'll let the monthly expiry 9/19. Obviously, that'll be coming up. September expiry, staying above that transition area we discussed, again, will be supportive as we continue to move to the upside. And then 6,600, that call speculation is alive and well. So that would be most likely the next target as we navigate the half levels and quarter levels moving to the upside. Again, unless this net delta column starts to change and you see red starting to be exposed via out of the money calls closing, or in the money calls below us closing and then exposing out of the money puts or in the money puts, we will continue to march to the upside within the overall SPX option structure and complex. Moving on the SPXP, again, these expiries turn over daily or weekly, so that we like to look at these for our intraday as well as our weekly positioning and form our SPX game plan. Again, call dominated above and below spot price. I'll draw your attention to today. 57% of the gamma is coming off the overall complex, so that will be important also, and where this gets deployed into the next few weeks heading into the monthly expiry obviously will be important also. We see the IC very clearly outlined here: 65.35, 65.40, 64.50, 64.55. Obviously, these will exert their force as we get close to these levels. If we're above, we would anticipate more appreciation to the upside towards that 65, 65, 65, 70 level. And if we're contained within this overall structure, most likely we'll continue to bounce around as we approach these areas of SPX exposure via the net OI. So we'll talk about this lower net OI here in just a few minutes as we move on. Let's move on to the GEX ratio, or what we call gamma edge ratio. Again, this is a put call ratio of gamma where we add a time component, which is the gamma component. So again, we've discussed that if we reach extremes 2.2, 2.3, or even this extreme at 3, we could most likely see some consolidation and pullback. So we're reaching 2.18 on the GEX ratio. So we do have the opportunity to move to the upside still, but we're most likely hitting a peak point some in the next few days if we continue to rise. But the quick takeaway is this is in a positive slope to the upside. So this indicates that call speculators are in control, alive and well. The short dated call gamma is swamping the short dated put gamma. So again, this is supportive and supportive of price appreciation to the upside. Obviously, to the downside, we've discussed this when we reach extremes of 0.5 to 0.7. This can be an opportunity for a bounce, as we've seen multiple times. We actually discussed that last week, that we were reaching an extreme. We were below 1, but reaching 0.7 down here, that we most likely could see a bounce back to the upside. So we'll continue to watch this day over day. Again, not likely out of the realm of possibilities next week to see some sort of consolidation, as our GEX ratio could reach a peak heading into today or early into next week. Delta balance for the SPXP, again, nice recovery back to the upside. We've talked about separating these, the right-hand plane and left-hand plane. So we did see the right-hand plane, which is the out-of-the-money call speculation, start to continue to creep up above 0. That's obviously driving spot price to the upside. And then the left-hand plane is the red dotted. That is the in-the-money calls below us or out-of-the-money puts. So obviously that is in-the-money call dominated. So again, that will continue to be supportive unless we see that change and we see the delta balance obviously back approaching 1. So we saw this dip to the downside that we were discussing. We wanted to see a quick recovery and move back to the upside, and that most likely would be met with price appreciation, which is what we got. So projected on out in time into next week. This is obviously the 8th. We see the right-hand plane moving to the upside. That's out of the money call speculation. Left-hand plane moving to the downside, but still above 0, so call dominated. And we see the delta balance pegged at 1. So not really looking for any major weakness heading into next week. We already discussed the GEX ratio could be reaching a cautionary point to the upside for consolidation, but we're not seeing any major downside speculation. If that is met with downside speculation or a delta balance, then we'll change our tune a little bit and we'd look for some consolidation and pullback down towards key gamma delta levels. Again, as long as we remain in the money call dominated below, out of the money call dominated above, which we'll discuss here, that continues to be supportive and the possibility of price appreciation to the upside. So we'll look at the delta here. Obviously, that's the first order Greek and king of the overall complex. So we're looking at 65.35 out of the money calls to the upside. Again, speculation alive and well, but also will be met with that upper IC strike that could be an area where we stall and have dampened price movement. To the downside, you see this massive left-hand plane integral. Obviously, that will be supportive no matter what on any pullback towards 6,500. You see the charm levels, 65.40 out of the money calls there. Those will continue to exert the force as long as we're below that. Again, that could be a headwind, discussing along with that IC strike to the upside. And we see the gamma and Vanna, again, highest sensitivity levels where we'll have to watch price. If we move through these levels, we could see quicker moves to the upside through 65.40. And then if we see volatility continue to drop, these would be those high sensitivity levels. Moving on to the SPXP, 0 DTE. So we see the iron condor in place, 65.35, 65.40 to the downside, 64.50, 64.55. Again, that would be the stalling point to the upside. If we're above that, again, moneyness matters. We'll capture this and most likely start price appreciation to the upside, 65.60, 65.75. I'm not anticipating that we have a large move above this early on in the session. Most likely we could see some action and reaction where we get above, and then we saw that failure yesterday. Same thing with the IC, and then we drove back to the upside towards the end of the day, so we'll continue to watch that. Drunken sailor range is down here, obviously low exposure area here, but really not within this overall SPX option structure here. 6,500 will be important on any pullback, as I just discussed with the net stat command. So staying above that obviously would lead to the possibility that we do drive through that upper IC strike and have more price appreciation. So this will give us, this will lead us to using the intraday vol-m command, or intraday what we call volume analysis or volumetrics of what market participants are doing intraday. So if the vol-m command is showing slopes to the upside, sorry, I forgot to pull that up this morning, so I'll go ahead and grab that. If our volume command is showing slopes to the upside, then that would be indicating that out of the money call speculation is coming in. So we'll go ahead and take a look at this. So this is what we finished like at the end of the day. Obviously, you can see the green call slope, call centroid moving to the upside in a positive slope, the linear fit line and dotted line, positive slope to the upside, and the put slope is indicating positive slope to the upside also. So we're not seeing out of the money put speculation. That would be a drive to the downside as well as the calls. So this was all positive slope. This was all bullish look yesterday. And if we're going to move through those upper IC strikes, this is what we're going to have to see. And then we'll look at the individual volume analysis to see if we're transacting enough volume to move through those strikes to the upside. So that'll be our game plan for today. I'll go ahead and move over to the trading view chart. I've outlined the IC on here as well as the drunken sailor range. As I discussed already, we're really starting to approach that upper IC this morning. My thesis A would be that we approach the upper IC, have the possibility to push into it or slightly above it, and then start seeing some stalling type action, and then possible a pullback into the overall range, and then possible pullback towards 6,500. That would be supportive, and then make another run up there towards the end of the day. The second thesis would be we push up, we fail, we drop down to 6,500, and then we see a little bit more weakness and profit taking, and then we start dropping back down towards 6,490, 6,480. That would be a less likely scenario for me at the moment, but still within the realm of possibilities. And then we go move down towards the top of the drunken sailor range, and this would all continue to be supportive on a move back down towards that area. I think my less likely scenario really at the open would be a drive through the IC, and then we really start seeing a significant amount of out of the money call speculation to the upside, just because of Friday, large move, and a significant amount of structure in place with these two legs of the IC. But again, that's a thesis of A, B, and C, and those are if-then statements. So we'll continue to watch these as we traverse the option structure and watch the price action. So that's kind of our plan for today. Again, we'll see how this all plays out. But we definitely have a plan in place. We definitely have a structure in place that will need to be navigated with large forces exerting on the upside and the downside. Now, we've covered the IC extensively in our SPX game plan this morning with large commentary as well as a chart that shows what will occur as we approach these IC strikes. So make sure you come join us in the Discord. We'd be happy to share that with you, and then you can look over it and ask questions. We have a technical questions channel also where we'll answer any questions. And then yesterday I spent an hour with a member just going over some tools that he needed some reinforcement on. So what we call office hours intraday, where it's open, traders can come in, ask questions. We help them really cover the tools, how to use them, and how to make them profitable within their own trading plan. So again, come join us. We'd be happy to have you. Again, if anybody has any questions this morning, go ahead and post them in the voice chat. I'll hang out for a few minutes there on the live stream here, and we can just watch some price action. Awesome, Corey. Good to hear, man. Great. Again, 14-day free trial. Be happy to come. Be happy for you to come join us, and we can answer any questions. We also have an open mic on Sundays that's open to all of our members with the GE team. So all of our GE team is available, and we cover certain topics, or we cover topics that need a little bit more in-depth deep dive for our members. And we record it, and then if our members aren't able to join us on the open mic, they can watch that back at their leisure, and then ask follow-up questions. So yeah, so pretty much what you'll notice on the individual equities, we're getting fairly well extended. Tesla's reaching PGX. This PGX level really is an area where we most likely see some profit taking to the upside. That's kind of the highest call sensitivity peak other than COI. So we usually watch that level pretty extensively. And then as long as we're above 0gex and P-trans, we have a trading plan of P-trans to PGEX. We have a scanner that allows our members to run intraday to see which of those stocks are crossing those positive transition levels into a more call-dominated positive game environment. Great to hear. It's just Jim. Happy to have you. Yeah. Our community continues to grow, and our community it's a development. The community leads our development, and so whatever the community members want to see is basically what we try to focus our development on, and we send that to our developers, and we enhance the tools or try to provide new tools. But it is a community-driven environment. So obviously, our GE team has our goals and kind of a North Star that we want to get to with our tools, but the community really drives our team of what we produce and what we develop from a visual standpoint. And everybody learns differently. So that's why we kind of have, a couple levels of visualization. We have, a flat, 2D type visualization. We have a 3D, chart. We have just a numbers chart that's Excel based for people that just want to see that. We have bar charts. I mean, we have the whole gamut of charts for people to be able to understand and digest the data, because everybody learns differently. So that's what we try to cover the whole gamut of education that we can. So yeah, so a few other stocks, obviously Microsoft, Uber, PLTR is above transition. So that's important. Obviously 160 to the upside would be one of those ones you want to watch. Snow, Hood reaching PGX there at 105. So may see some stalling there. So. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. Everybody, I hope you had a great week. I hope you enjoyed all of our content. Not sure if we'll do a midday recap today, but we'll do a post-market recap. Again, go back and review all of our videos from this week and how we systematically played out this week with our tools and our game plan, watching price action. And then look for our X posts. Make sure you like and subscribe, and you'll see intraday content when we post it about single equities reaching our key gamma delta levels. So yeah, so absolutely, Mr. Hedgeman. Thanks everybody for joining us. Again, have a lovely weekend, and we'll see you later.